What's up, everybody? I hope y'all didn't think that I forgot about you, because I haven't. I am a normal human that had to purchase 2 new back tires because New Year's Eve, she went to Nashville and somehow managed to get 3 holes in 1 tire. And then she called her daddy once she got to the tire shop, and he was like, you need to buy 2 back tires and you need to get the good ones. And I'm like, well, shit, I didn't have any contingency plan for that. Anyway, so I haven't had a lot of time or energy to be in this space, to make myself available and to put content out there. I just haven't. Your girl's been tired, but here we are. Here we are, babes. So, this episode is on growth influencers, people that I pay attention to. The first set of things that I'm going to recommend are book recommendations. I have a bookshelf full of books. A lot of them I have not read yet. So I'm not going to put out that content for you until I read them. So I'll probably continuously put out things that I recommend as I go along in my journey. I'm the type of person, I like to read 1 book at a time. I do that because I want to get everything I am supposed to get out of the book that I am reading. And I don't think, for me personally, I can do that by reading several books at once. I am gonna say, we know your girl is from the South, so my pronunciations of these names, they're probably not gonna be the best. They're not gonna be the most accurate. But if you're from the South, you know the struggle. You know the struggle. Anyway, the very first book that I read on my spiritual journey is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. That one to me is essentially about your own journey, figuring things out. That's a really good one. The next one, and I cannot stress this enough, this book is so important. I think every person needs to read this book. It's The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's essentially about breaking down your societal conditioning. Things that you grew up with, the things that you were told when you were raised, and how to break down like the right and the wrong of life. The 4 Agreements I have wrote on a dry erase board in my bedroom because that is what I want to look at every morning when I wake up. You know, I would love to look at the sunrise on a beach, or have my window open and hear the birds chirping in the middle of the woods in a solar-powered cabin. But appreciation for where I am now, I have a dry erase board in my room in a studio apartment. Period. The next book I recommend is the one that I'm currently reading. And I'm gonna say this before I put this out there. My brain, I don't personally feel like my brain is science-based. Science has never been one of my best subjects, which granted in school I did not really apply myself, if I'm being completely transparent, but a lot of the stuff in this book is so damn far over my head, but I am thoroughly interested in the book because of that. Because these are things that I don't know. And the way he breaks it down makes it easier to understand. It is Evolve Your Brain, Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's essentially about the science behind changing your mind. Like, literally how your mindset affects your life. And how you can rewire your brain in order to be in a better headspace. It's such a good book, and I'm not even halfway done with it yet, but I highly recommend it. The next set of books I found in because there's not anymore, the bookstore in Cassadaga, Florida. My best friend and I wanted to go to Cassadaga last summer. We wanted a different kind of mini vacation. We only went for 2 days. But if you don't know anything about Cassadaga, Florida, it is the spiritualist capital of the United States. I highly recommend looking at the history and how Cassadaga, Florida was founded. If you love a good rabbit hole like I do, that's a good one to go down. And while there's not a whole lot going on in this town, the energy is immaculate in this town. And I feel like there's a lot of crossed over spiritual activity in this town as well. Apparently the population is over 50% psychics, which is so unique, and I love that about this place. Anyway, getting off topic here. So I'm going to recommend the books that I found in this cute little bookstore in Cassadaga. The Dalai Lama's Little Book of Wisdom. If you have not dug into the Dalai Lama's teachings or his content in general, highly recommend. The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, Deepok Chopra. Also fire. The next one, so I've had a spark prior to me purchasing this book, I had a spark in interest on chakras. I did not know anything about chakras, not a damn thing, but I was drawn to chakras. And then I found this book and I got into it. The book is called The Little Book of Chakras by Patricia Mercier. Your chakras are so important, so important. So in this book, it tells you what are the chakras, how to tell if your chakras are out of balance, overactive or underactive chakras, and it also provides meditations and other things to get your chakras back in balance. You need to read that book, especially if you are drawn to chakras. The next set of things that I want to recommend are podcasts. I would like to take this time to apologize to someone that I used to date because at the time I was very much unwell with myself, and I hated podcasts. I hated listening to people talk, especially on road trips. Like, no. And I don't know if it's because of the podcast that he would always want to listen to. But I now listen to podcast almost every morning. If there's a new episode out on any of the 4 that I'm gonna recommend, I listen to it in the morning when I'm doing my makeup. To me, that's like morning meditation. I love waking up in the morning, beating my face, and listening to podcasts. That just really sets the tone for the day for me. I'm in the right headspace, and I'm focused on doing my makeup, but I'm actively listening to the podcast, and I'm learning as I'm beating my face. If there's not a new episode of any of these podcasts out, I do listen to my high vibrational shit playlist on Spotify. You can follow it if you want to. I'm a big music girl. I always put my playlists out there. I have several. Big music girl. These are songs that make me feel something. So it's not gonna slap for everybody, but it beats the block down for me. And they're like, most of them are positive, uplifting songs. Some of them are like soulful, sad songs, but they make me feel something, and I enjoy them. So if you want to follow that playlist, you can do that. If you don't, that's cool too. No worries. But the first podcast, and probably my favorite, is the High Self podcast by Sahara Rose. Her content is fire. Her content is fire. And she brings so many different people from so many different walks of life on there. And I actively learn things every single time I listen to one of her episodes. I promote her podcast all the time on my Instagram. My girl. She's a Capricorn. I know it may seem rare for an Aries sun to love Capricorn suns. Most of my best friends growing up were Capricorn suns. Both of my best friends now are Capricorn suns. One of them is a Sag sun. That's self-explanatory. But getting off topic. Circling back. The Science and Spirituality podcast by Chris and Kevin Carton. I love these brothers. They are the cutest little awkward things. I'm awkward, so I can say that. Okay. Stating the obvious here because it's in the title, they make connections between science and spirituality. I have learned a lot from their podcast too. This is another podcast that I promote heavily on my Instagram. Highly recommend those boys. The next one is Namaste Today by Christopher Witecki. If you are into astrology, this man is like an astrological weatherman. He does have planets and transits for the week based on your natal chart that you can subscribe to. I don't. You should, if that's something you're interested in, and I am interested, I just don't. But Namaste Today is essentially the planetary transits that are happening in a week span and what you can expect due to the shifts and the planets. Big astrology girl, like love spirituality, but astrology is how your girl got started. So I highly recommend that podcast. The next one is The Cabral Concept by Dr. Stephen Cabral. He is a naturopathic doctor, and he goes over so many different things related to health. He's someone I like to listen to because I'm interested in naturopathy, holistic healing, herbalism, all that stuff. Ya boy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, be on it. I know I'm chaotic. I'm sorry. My Mercury is in Pisces. Period. People that I pay attention to. I'm going to include the handles on Instagram of some of these people, and people that I don't include in this list that I actively pay attention to on Instagram because their content resonates with me and I love their content. I'll put that in the description of this episode, but let's get into it. Sadhguru, Sahara Rose, Dr. Joe Dispenza, the Dalai Lama, Deepok Chopra, Jim Carrey, James McCrae, Osho, Aristotle, Young Pueblo, Maya Angelou. I freaking love Maya Angelou. I have Still I Rise tattooed on my knee because even though I'm in the energy I am now, I have been through a lot of shit. And I think that helps me be able to hold my light the way I do. Because I have known my darkness so intimately. And I'm not perfect. I'm still learning and I'm still going to go through struggles. But these people really hit for me. Kevin Gates, I'm pretty sure I mentioned him on the last episode, but I see his reels on Instagram come up, like on podcasts that he's been on, and the things that he says. Fire. Teal Swan. I got the symbol for alchemy tattooed on my leg because of that woman. I love the things that she says and what she goes over. Love her. I would love to go to one of her shows or whatever you would call it. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the butchering of the last name of the next person I'm about to name. BB Brzozowska. So the last podcast of Sahara Rose that I listened to, she was a guest on it, and her content is really woman womb based, which I love too, because something that I've tried to do on my spiritual journey is be more in my feminine energy. I feel like for most of my life, I have been in my masculine energy as a trauma response. But we'll probably end up getting into masculine versus feminine energy on an episode. But as of right now, I don't have enough knowledge on the topic to be able to deliver that kind of content. However, moving on to the remainder of the list. Dr. Nicole LaPera, Mia Banducci. That's fine. Reverend Brianna Lynn. Again, I hope, my genuine hope is that the things that I put out on this channel, podcast, whatever you want to call it, helps people help themselves. It is not my job to heal people. I think it is my job to hold the hand of someone that wants to help themselves heal. I have been the person in my life. I have tried to be the person that has healed, that has tried to heal broken people. That's not my job. That's not my job. I have exhausted myself so many times trying to help people that don't want to be helped. So the repetitiveness of the message of, I'm not going to heal you. I'm going to provide you things that will help you heal yourself if you tap into them, grow as an individual. Here it is. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode. I hope this helps. We'll see you on the next one.